Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? Depending on where you're from, crab cakes are the quintessential item of any seafood lover's menu, especially if you're from Maryland or the Delmarva area. Nothing beats the prized, sweet, jumbo lump meat out of the Chesapeake Bay blue crab. Or unless you're from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas. You see where I'm going with this? Most likely, wherever you're from, that's going to be your favorite type of blue crab to eat. But just like everything nowadays, crab meat is expensive. And when I say expensive, I mean really expensive. Depending on what type of crab meat, where it's from, and where you get it, can be really expensive. It can cost as much or more than king crab. But good thing for you, the people, depending on where you live, what type of crab meat you're looking for, and your pocketbook, there's a lot of choices. And I happened to find one during my very first visit at my local Aldi the other day. With this 8-ounce package of specially selected, boardwalk-style, handmade crab cakes that cost $4.99. This brand also has a Maryland-style crab cake, but Aldi didn't have them, and neither did my local grocery store. If these are any good, I'll try them in an upcoming future video. At $4.99, yes, I was extremely skeptical, but I felt safe gambling $4.99. Over the years, I've had some really bad crab cakes that have cost a whole lot more. So what do I have to lose besides my health? And of course, $4.99. Even if it's a bad crab cake, that's not a bad price, as long as it contains crab. And yes, indeed, it does contain crab, although not the Atlantic blue crab that most of us, the people, desire, but rather a blue swimmer crab found in the Indo-Pacific. So I'm pretty sure that the type of crab and the amount of crab in these crab cakes is what dictates the low cost. Not necessarily a bad thing, it's just a fact, Jack. There's 2 4-ounce crab cakes per package. Each crab cake has 250 calories, 21 grams of total fat, 3.5 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat, 50 milligrams of cholesterol, 450 milligrams of sodium, 8 grams of carbohydrates, no fiber, 1 gram of sugars, and 7 grams of protein. Now the instructions on the box say to cook at 400 degrees for 13 minutes, and then to flip and cook for another 5 minutes. I'm not heating my oven up for 2 $5 crab cakes, but rather I'm going to cook them in my new Ninja Pro XL 5-quart air fryer with a big special thanks to Jim Dewar for sending it to me. Thank you so very much, Jim, for your generosity. I really appreciate and love the new air fryer. So let's get these out of the box, out of the package, and into the air fryer. At first glance, visually, these crab cakes don't look too bad. So now they go into the air fryer at 350 degrees for 10 minutes. Now while our crab cakes are in the air fryer, let's have a little snack, courtesy of Bert B. Now leave your guesses down below at what he sent me that might make me barf. If you haven't guessed yet, we're having red calamari, also known as squid, which is all natural, gluten-free, non-GMO, and keto-friendly. I'm sorry, Bert, but there's nothing about that makes me want to barf. Yet, I've never eaten a squid I didn't like. Here's the list of ingredients, and it doesn't get any simpler or more natural than this. There's 4 servings per container. Each serving has 120 calories, 7 grams of total fat, 1 gram of saturated fat, no trans fat, 3 grams of polyunsaturated fat, 2 grams of monounsaturated fat, no cholesterol, no sodium, 14 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, 8 grams of sugars, and 2 grams of protein. Now the nutrition facts don't sound bad, but I do have to beg to differ with the sodium content. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's naturally sodium in everything. And there's salt in the ingredients, which contain sodium, and there's also fish sauce, which is fish and salt. So although I don't know how much, I would bet there's a good amount of sodium in this squid, which isn't a big deal to me, but if you're on a low sodium diet, it may be. So let's get our red calamari out of the bag, onto a plate, and into our mouths. And I was so happy to see that this wasn't the customary ring calamari that you see everywhere. This is the whole body and tentacles. And it definitely looks a whole lot different than I expected. Here we have a tentacle we're going to try first. So into the old pie hole and down the gullet it went. After that first bite, this was me waiting for the second bite. I could not wait to get another piece in my mouth. To the point these little pieces weren't cutting it anymore. We had to get a big wad of it. If you've ever had squid before, completely throw the taste you think it tastes like out the door. Because as you know, squid on its own doesn't have a ton of flavor. At least the squid I've had before. This is red squid, which I've never had before, so maybe the flavor is different. Now I wasn't anticipating this calamari to be sweet, but it's very sweet in a very good way. But not like a candy sweet, like a sea scallop sweet, on steroids. But I did expect it to be salty, which it wasn't. It had the perfect salt balance to the sweetness. To me, it tasted like a really good sweet snow crab on steroids than it did squid. I really loved the chewy, rubbery texture as well, because it made the delicious flavor last longer in your mouth. But even though I really did love the rubbery texture, it gave me an idea to use another product that a subscriber sent me. And I sincerely apologize to the subscriber who sent this to me that I lost the label with your name on it. But thank you very much. I've been wanting to try these items for a long time. This one's called Chicken Dew Crunch, which is a savory, crunchy hot sauce that you'll find yourself putting on everything. After seeing it in the jar and smelling it, I was ready to try a spoonful on its own. Luckily, this one wasn't one of the really spicy ones. So into the old pie hole and down the gullet it went. That was very crunchy, very flavorful, savory, with just the right amount of spice to make you feel alive. This would be a great topping on anything, especially a flip-flop. If I ever get to 1 million subscribers, I've been stuck at 915,000 for a long time. So you know what to do if you're not already. So we got a big old spoonful of a Chicken Dew Crunch and a red calamari, and into the old pie hole and down the gullet it went. Words escaped me after taking that bite. It's just one of those bites you want to close your eyes and enjoy forever. If you like trying new things and sometimes weird things, I would highly recommend trying both of these products. Now here's our crab cakes after air frying at 350 degrees for 10 minutes. And these look and smell really good without any fishy aroma. I was shocked at how light and airy and delicate these were when we cut into them. They're falling apart as a good crab cake should. They appear to be full of meat and not doughy and cakey like cheap crab cakes usually are. So into the old pie hole and down the gullet it went. Now before I get Scooter all riled up, let's keep things into perspective here. We're reviewing a frozen cheap crab cake that is remarkably good for what it is. It has a lot of crab meat with just enough filler to hold it together and to keep it light. And you want to watch this next bite very closely, because it almost didn't happen. But thanks to Verlissa's cat-like reflexes, it did happen. I love Bella the Wonder Dog, and I usually share everything I eat with her, but I didn't want to share this crab cake because Verlissa was going to eat the other one. But look at how moist and meaty that piece of crab cake is. That would have been a shame to miss out on. But Bella would have enjoyed it. The flavor of these reminds me of the old devil crabs that you get in the crab shells, or sometimes in the fake aluminum crab shells, in most seafood restaurants down south, especially Calabash-style seafood restaurants. But those deviled crabs tasted good, but they didn't have much crab in them, and they were nothing but breading. These have the flavor and the crab without all the breading. And I'm usually not a fan of onions and peppers in my crab cakes, but they worked in these crab cakes. Unless this batch is a fluke, I think we found a hidden gem at Aldi. These crab cakes are full of meat, full of flavor, they're moist, without a lot of breading. They're almost a perfect frozen crab cake. Oh, and remember, they only cost $4.99 for two. Now these crab cakes aren't going to win any awards, but if you're looking for good, and I mean really good budget crab cakes, you better get to Aldi real quick, because I'm going to buy all of them, which is why I'm giving these boardwalk crab cakes an 8 out of 10. Thank you all very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.